is the news at 10, live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Ijoma Oyenato.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, another shift in the 2014 budget presentation at the National Assembly. President Jonathan cites difference in approved oil benchmark by the upper and lower houses. U.S. Consul General Jeffrey Hawkins challenges INEC on credible elections in 2015. LASMA official caught on camera demanding bribe on the run. Governor Fashola promises to bring him to justice. And over 50 people feared trapped in a collapsed shopping mall in South Africa.
Tonight on Business News, advancing the nation's economy is top on the agenda as President Jonathan heads to London tomorrow for the Nigeria's Honorary International Investors Council meeting.
And on sports news tonight, Africa's list of representatives to the FIFA 2014 World Cup in Brazil is now complete. Ghana, Algeria join Nigeria, Cameroon and Cote d'Ivoire on the trip to Brazil.
I'm Linda Kibe from Abuja. Analysts consider the impact of the postponement of a 2014 budget presentation. Some believe it may be injurious to the economy. Just when the nation thought that the budget presentation for 2014 would sail through unhindered, there has been yet another postponement, dimming hopes of a speedy passage of the fiscal policy. In a letter transmitted to the federal lawmakers, the president clearly requested a deferment pending when the two houses are able to harmonize their figures for the 2014-2016 medium-term framework. While the lawmakers disagree on the figures, they do agree that the president's action is appropriate. Our correspondent Lionel Assisi reports.
As early as 10 a.m., there were signs that the president may not be coming to present the 2014 budget as scheduled. This was later confirmed by a letter from the president, which was read to the lawmakers by their respective presiding officer.
Considering the fact that whereas the distinguished Senate has approved the medium-term expenditure framework MTEF based on a benchmark of $76.5 per barrel, the Honorable House of Representatives has used a benchmark of $79 per barrel. It is infeasible for me to present the budget in the absence of a harmonized position on the MTEF. In the circumstance, it has become necessary to defer the presentation of the 2014 budget to a joint session of the National Assembly until such a time when both respective chambers would have harmonized their positions on MTEF.
For some of the lawmakers, the president's decision got their approval.
I think he did the right thing. And as a parliament, we understand because that's the position of the law. So we encourage that. At every time, every government action should be according to the law. And that's what the president is doing.
What Mr. President has done is a very wise move, and also it's a move that allows time for the National Assembly to conclude on that oil benchmark.
In his wisdom, and I think that's the proper thing to do, the president, going by the law, has deferred presentation of the budget, and everything we're doing is we're doing well.
Some senators were, however, divided over the crude oil benchmark price as adopted by the House of Representatives.
So I believe that that 79 is unrealistic, it's too ambitious, and I believe that we should go with the Senate 76.
For somebody to come and say that because of these parameters or indices, that is why this thing is not realistic, I think is most uncharitable, to the people of Nigeria, and it's not true. So I believe what the House did, I think I am totally in support of what the House did.
For now, the president and indeed all Nigerians will be waiting for the National Assembly to agree on the crude oil benchmark price and approve the medium-term expenditure framework. Lanre Lasese. Channels Television News.
The country has seen this back and forth in 2013, and the scenario is replaying in this year's exercise. Debates over oil benchmark implementation and the change in exchange rates have always been points of disagreement, leading to delays. In our next report, our business correspondent, Chimezie Obiwagu, examines some of the issues.
Prepared in record time and tagged Budget of Fiscal Consolidation with Inclusive Growth, the 2013 budget made provision for benchmark oil price of $79 per barrel, up from $72 in 2012. The President had proposed an oil benchmark of $75 in the 2013 budget, but the House disagreed with that and raised it to $79.
Necessary to defer the presentation of the 2014 budget.
Going by the medium-term expenditure framework for 2014 to 2016 presented to the National Assembly, the President pegged the oil benchmark at $74 for 2014. Again, the legislature is in disagreement. While the Senate has approved an oil benchmark of $76 per barrel, the House of Representatives thinks the benchmark should be retained at $79.
In countries like Nigeria, that are so dependent on oil revenues, and where the use of buffers, fiscal buffers, has been significant in the course of the last few years, we are advising those countries to use the opportunity of still relatively elevated commodity prices and oil prices to actually replenish those buffers, so that when there is a significant downturn, if there is, in the global economy, that Nigeria will have the opportunity to tap into, say, the excess crude account.
Aside from the benchmark oil price, one other issue that has continued to generate a lot of controversy between the executive and the legislature is the level of implementation of the budget.
The key issues has to do, one, with the assumptions of the budget. Because if you have a budget, you have some underlying assumptions. If these assumptions collapse, if they don't stand, certainly implementation will be affected.
The figure from the Federal Ministry of Finance shows that out of the 1.62 trillion naira earmarked for capital expenditure in 2013, 1.01 trillion naira has so far been released for capital projects. 400 billion naira was released in the first quarter, 200 billion naira in the second quarter, 250 billion naira in the third quarter, and just recently, the ministry released 160 billion naira for the fourth quarter. A further breakdown of those figures shows that 598.4 billion naira, or about 72.3% of the capital budget, has been utilized as at the third quarter of the year. In all of these, what Nigerians want to see is improvement in developmental projects and not the amount of monies released. Chimezie Obiwagu for Channels Television News.